Still on security concerns, fresh fears are mounting as violent attacks sweep across multiple states, leaving dozens dead in just the past week. In Niger State, residents of Kasuwan Daji are calling for military barracks after a bandit attack on January 3rd killed more than 30 people and destroyed the local market. Hundreds have fled, fearing the attackers may return. The community's proximity to Papiri, the site of a recent mass school abduction, has also heightened safety concerns ahead of the school's resumption on January 12th. In Katsina State, a fragile peace deal collapsed on Monday night as gunmen attacked 3 communities in Malumfashi Local Government Area, causing widespread destruction. In the southwest, 5 National Park Service personnel were killed Tuesday night in Oyo State. The officers died during a shootout after armed men stormed a park facility in Oloka and then fled the scene. And in Benue State, 5 persons were also killed by suspected herdsmen in Kwande Local Government Area on Tuesday. For in-depth analysis on this, we're joined all the way from Kano State is Abubakar Kankara. He is a freelance conflict journalist, and he joins us virtually on the news. Abubakar, first of all, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate you for coming on. Very dire scenes we're seeing here. We've recorded dozens of deaths in just 1 week alone. Is this a coordinated surge in violence or just proof that the security architecture that we know is collapsing?
Thank you very much. I think I can call it a collapse in the security architecture, because the government or the security agencies have shifted, I think, their attention since when the United States president make announcement that there's going to be a strike in Nigeria. So they're trying to, I think, understand the nature of the attack and where the airstrike will hit and then gather some information. So I think that shifted their attention from their primary responsibility to know when to launch attack and then to know maybe to have detail of where those criminals or terrorist groups plans to attack, despite sometimes you see that some locals will raise alarm to tell the footstep or tell where the bandits or the terrorists are heading to. So sometimes I can say there's a huge gap between the commuters, the citizens, and the Nigerian security. So that's just what I think brings more of the atrocities on innocent citizens, which I think the Nigerian securities needs to wake up and then attacks more, and instead of waiting for the bandits to come and then repel their attacks. So I think that's one of the major issues. Security agencies sometimes wait to repel attack, instead try to know the hideout of these criminals, attack them when they are preparing to attack innocent citizens.
Look at Kasuwan Daji, which is one of the communities that the residents there are now begging for a military barracks after about 30 people were killed. I mean, and this wasn't an attack on that was seen and unforeseen or forestalled in this case. This is 30 people. We're talking about 30 lives. Let's look at the ungoverned areas or the areas that are far-flung, who fall or who are susceptible to this type of attacks. What are the flaws of our security architecture that these residents have to call for a military barracks in some sense to hope that this will give them more security and safety?
I think what we've even seen, the attacks or killings of these innocent people, I think the 30 people you mentioned, is one of the few. Most of these stories or most of these atrocities are highly underreported. More people have been killed, more have been abducted, and then more people or more citizens are calling for military intervention, calling for police intervention. But I think what the military should do is not stationing some of their personnel in one place. What is needed most now is we should understand where are the bandit remote areas, where are their routes. They are usually where they go to launch attack on innocent citizens. In as much as the military will understand that, and then will try and block all the access routes of this armed bandit, and as well heed to local report from locals, and as well equipped the local vigilance, and then give them more power to repel, or more power to give them more information. And even when the information is being passed to the military, they should act decisively and then immediately, sometimes waiting for command from Abuja, or waiting for command from maybe the divisional or some of the hierarchy of the military, delay response. So I think this is why most of the locals prepare to see military barracks closer to them, which I think is not possible, considering how some of those remote areas are. Some have no access route, and then some has no even access internet or network where the military or other people can connect with. So I think we should invest in more of the technology. That's where I think the Nigerian government needs to consult the United States and tap from the technological advanced equipment they have and the training, so that we can be able to tackle such insecurity bedeviling the country.
Let's look at Monday, which is just right around the corner. It means schools will be reopening, right? And many of those schools are schools that are in areas where we've seen repeated attacks. And there are fears that these attacks might surge again if these schools are reopened. Do you think that the security architecture, or better yet, these areas are ready to expand their operations to cover the schools? Have they prepared enough for school resumption come Monday?
Honestly speaking, in some of these areas, I think they are not prepared, because I traveled to some of those states, I think even last week, which are some of the schools. I couldn't see much security presence in those schools. And then I can tell you, most of those parents have lost hope in sending their children to schools. So I think the government needs to deploy more security personnel to most of the schools, because now I think if the government is trying to protect only the boarding schools, the bandits may also try to attack some of the day schools, which we know we might be more dangerous, because if they can attack such those schools, they will cripple the education. Even the less people that have hope to go to send their children to school would be they will not try to do that, which I think will increase the number of out-of-school children. So the government needs to wake up, and the government needs to collaborate more with some of international communities who have more sophisticated weapons and technology to support them, especially in tackling such. I think the government is not ready.
Yeah, Abubakar, you're saying that the government is not ready. There isn't any presence of security. The last time you went there for an inspection, and it just brings to fore about whether or not the authorities are ready to protect our children, or against another mass school abduction. But most importantly, when we're looking at solutions or preferred solutions, one has to talk about a peace deal. We've seen time and time again where this fragile peace deal that state governments have tried to sort of build between the with the kidnappers or non-state actors and the state, and they always fail through. How do you see this happening now? How can this be enforced? Or is this just an effort in futility?
And the thing is, sometimes you find out that most of the state governors or most of those states are not sincere with their demand with the bandits. I'm not defending the terrorists, but I think we need to have a cohesion. We need to have that accountability. When you tell a terrorist that these are your demand, the terrorists tell you their demand. Both parties should respect their demand. But sometimes you find out that both parties fail to meet up to that demand. So I think the most sincere thing is the government should equip more security personnel, and as well, even if they want to negotiate with the terrorists, they should involve things. They should involve things that are working, things that they can meet up. Because if you promise a terrorist something and you didn't meet up, definitely he will commit atrocities, and the end receivers are the citizens. So I think most times lack of sincerity and then accountability is the major issues. You see the bandits also are breaking to the promise they made the government, which I think we don't even need to negotiate with a terrorist that has been killing and committing atrocities on citizens, destabilizing all the peace efforts in the country. So the negotiation does not even come at first place. If we can't eliminate them, we should seek for support from people who can help us eliminate them.
Right. Abubakar, I got to say thank you. I wish we could continue with this discussion, but it never ends. And this is just a new year with threats of more strikes if Christians, persecution of Christians do not continue, attacks on Christians do not continue by the U.S. President. And what we've seen with, the patterns and whether or not the network of bandits are continuing to expand and what it means for the workforce. I think what should be discussed now is the decentralization of security and making it security at state level. Maybe that might just be our solutions when it comes to bandit attacks, abductions, and killings. Abubakar Kankara, he is a freelance conflict journalist, just giving us a bit of insight on the security situation in Nigeria. Once again, Abubakar, thank you.